The tree grows 5 inches per week, 15 to 20 feet in 1 year. You can cut it to the stump and it regrows in 3 weeks. Each leaf contains 92 nutrients, all 9 essential amino acids, 46 antioxidants. It grows in drought. It grows in poor soil. It grows in containers on a balcony. The fastest growing nutritional pharmacy on earth costs $2 to plant. The supplement industry costs you $850 a year to replace what this tree gives for free. Subscribe and hit the bell. Every share helps preserve what they tried to erase. In the Indus Valley, Ayurvedic physicians document a tree they call the miracle tree. They prescribe its leaves for joint pain, digestive disorders, skin disease, malnutrition, infection, inflammation, and fatigue. Their medical texts cite over 300 conditions treated with its leaves, bark, seeds, and oil. The tree is Moringa oleifera. It grows along riverbanks, in dry heat, in rocky soil where most plants refuse to root. The physicians do not know about vitamins. They do not know about amino acids. They do not have laboratories, but they know what works. They have watched it work for generations. They write it down. And for 40 centuries, that record survives. The Egyptians use the oil. They press it from moringa seeds and apply it to skin. They pour it into jars and place it inside burial tombs, alongside gold, grain, and weapons. Archaeologists have recovered moringa oil from Egyptian tombs dating to approximately 2000 BC. The Egyptians believe the dead need this oil in the afterlife. They do not bury olive oil. They do not bury sesame oil. They bury moringa. The Greeks trade it. The Romans use it to purify water on military campaigns. In sub-Saharan Africa, communities use crushed moringa seeds to clarify muddy water, a practice later validated in peer-reviewed research. A study published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology confirms that proteins extracted from moringa seeds act as natural flocculants, binding to suspended particles and bacteria in water, pulling them to the bottom. Clean water from a crushed seed. For 4,000 years, this tree feeds, heals, and purifies on every continent where it grows, without a patent, without a brand, without a marketing department. Then the supplement industry arrives. The dietary supplement market in the United States was valued at $68.74 billion in 2020. Vitamins alone account for 28.1% of that revenue. The global dietary supplement market reached $209.52 billion in the same year, projected to hit $431.69 billion by 2033. The industry sells you calcium in one bottle, iron in another, vitamin C in a third, vitamin A in a fourth, potassium in a fifth, B-complex in a sixth, magnesium in a seventh, protein powder in an eighth, antioxidant blends in a ninth, each bottle $12 to $40, each one containing a single isolated nutrient manufactured in a factory, compressed into a tablet, coated in synthetic film, sealed in plastic, and sold on a shelf with a 90-day expiration date. Now here is what a single moringa leaf contains: vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, vitamin B6, folate, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, copper, manganese, selenium, sodium, sulfur, all 9 essential amino acids, threonine, methionine, isoleucine, lysine, valinoleucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, and histidine, 7 non-essential amino acids, 46 identified antioxidants including quercetin, chlorogenic acid, beta-carotene, and kaempferol, anti-inflammatory compounds including isothiocyanates, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, fiber, protein, at 27 grams per 100 grams of dried leaf, 92 nutrients in one leaf from one tree that grows back every time you cut it. The published comparisons are staggering: 7 times more vitamin C than oranges, 10 times more vitamin A than carrots, 17 times more calcium than milk, 15 times more potassium than bananas, 9 times more iron than spinach, 25 times more iron than kale, 4 times more protein than eggs. These are not marketing claims from a supplement brand. These are measurements published in peer-reviewed nutritional science, the journal Food Science and Human Wellness, the journal Molecules, the National Institutes of Health through PubMed. Over 129 original research articles reviewed in a single 2025 systematic review published in the journal Plants. The tree is not unstudied. It is not fringe. It is not folk medicine waiting for validation. It has been validated repeatedly, across decades, by researchers in 15 countries, in hundreds of published papers. The science is done. And yet, walk into any GNC, any vitamin shop, any supplement aisle at CVS, Walgreens, Target, or Walmart. Count the bottles, count the brines, count the isolated nutrients sold separately at $12 to $40 each. Now look for Moringa. If it exists at all, it sits in a small capsule on a bottom shelf. Labeled as a specialty supplement, priced at $20 to $30 for a 60-capsule bottle, a 30-day supply at best. Nobody tells you that the capsule contains dried leaf powder from a tree you could grow in your kitchen. Nobody tells you that a single tree produces enough leaf in one season to replace every bottle on that shelf. Nobody tells you that the tree costs $2 to plant from seed and produces its first harvest in 60 days, because a tree cannot generate a subscription, a tree cannot be patented, a tree cannot produce quarterly earnings reports. A tree that replaces 9 bottles with 1 leaf is not a product opportunity, it is a revenue threat. Here is what the supplement industry does not want you to understand about bioavailability. A synthetic vitamin is a single isolated compound manufactured in a laboratory. When you swallow it, your body receives that one molecule. No cofactors, no enzymes, no fiber matrix, no phytonutrient synergy. A study published in the journal Nutrients compared natural vitamin B complexes derived from food sources against synthetic equivalents and found measurable differences in bioavailability, cellular accumulation, and antioxidant impact. The food-derived forms performed consistently better because they arrived with the full matrix of supporting compounds that evolved together in the plant. Moringa delivers its nutrients in a whole food matrix. The calcium arrives alongside magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin K, the exact cofactors the body requires to absorb and utilize calcium. The iron arrives with vitamin C, which enhances non-Heim iron absorption by up to 6 times. The protein arrives with all 9 essential amino acids in balanced ratios, making it a complete protein, one of the rarest designations in the plant kingdom. The antioxidants arrive in 46 forms that work synergistically, not in isolation. This is not a supplement, this is a food, growing on a tree that you own. Here is how fast this tree grows. Moringa oleifera is classified among the fastest growing trees on Earth. From seed, it reaches 15 to 20 feet in its first year under favorable conditions. 5 inches per week is documented in tropical and subtropical climates. It grows in USDA zones 9 through 11, outdoors year-round. In colder zones, it grows in containers, indoors beside a south-facing window in winter, outdoors on a balcony or patio in summer. Gardeners in Zone 5 have overwintered moringa by cutting it to the stump before first frost and letting it resprout in spring. The root system stores energy. The stump does not die. It waits. And when warmth returns, it pushes new growth at a rate no other nutritional plant can match. You can harvest leaves every 6 to 8 weeks. Each harvest stimulates the tree to produce more branches. More branches produce more leaves. The more you cut, the bushier it grows. The more it branches, the more you harvest. It is a nutritional system that accelerates with use. A single tree in a subtropical backyard can produce enough dried leaf powder to supply one adult's vitamin and mineral needs for an entire year. Multiple trees, and they grow happily in dense rows, can supply a family. The dried leaves retain their nutrients. Research published in the Journal of Food, Science and Technology shows that properly shade-dried moringa leaves concentrate nutrients by 3.5 to 4.5 times compared to fresh leaves by weight. Dried moringa powder stored in an airtight container at room temperature remains nutritionally viable for over 12 months. No refrigeration, no preservatives, no expiration clock ticking toward a disposal date and a replacement purchase. Here is what you do. Buy a packet of moringa seeds, 30 seeds for $5 to $7 on Amazon, Walmart, or any garden seed supplier. That is enough to grow 30 trees, each tree worth a lifetime of nutrients. Soak the seeds overnight in warm water. Plant each seed 1 inch deep in a pot filled with well-draining soil. Any soil, moringa tolerates sand, clay, loam, and rocky substrates. Water lightly. Place in a warm location above 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Germination occurs in 7 to 14 days. Once the seedling reaches 12 inches, transplant it into a larger container or directly into the ground if you are in zone 9 or warmer. Full sun, water once or twice per week. Do not overwater. Moringa roots are sensitive to waterlogging. That is its only demand. Drainage. In 60 days, you harvest your first leaves. Strip them from the stems. Spread them on a clean cloth in shade, never direct sun, which degrades vitamin A dry for 3 to 5 days until crisp. Crush into powder with your hands or a blender. Store in a glass jar. 1 tablespoon per day in a smoothie, soup, tea, or sprinkled over food delivers more calcium than a glass of milk, more iron than a serving of spinach, more vitamin C than an orange, and more potassium than a banana. 1 tablespoon, 1 tree, every day for 20 to 40 years. That is the lifespan of a moringa tree that is maintained with regular harvesting. Cost per year after the initial seed, 0. The tree feeds itself through photosynthesis. It fixes its own nitrogen in poor soils through beneficial microbial associations. It requires no fertilizer, no pesticide, no supplement subscription, no monthly auto ship, no loyalty program, no promo code, no 60-capsule bottle that runs out in 30 days and costs $29 to replace. The supplement industry, projected to reach $431 billion by 2033, sells you isolated fractions of what this tree produces. Whole, they synthesize in factories what the moringa leaf assembles through photosynthesis. They patent delivery systems for nutrients that arrive free in a leaf matrix. They charge monthly for what a $2 seed produces weekly. They build empires on the assumption that nutrition must come from a bottle. The moringa breaks that assumption, not theoretically, physically, in your yard, on your balcony, on your windowsill, in 60 days. The ancient Ayurvedic physicians knew this 4,000 years ago. They prescribed 300 uses for a tree that grew freely along the rivers of India. The Egyptians knew it well enough to bury it alongside gold. The Romans carried it on military campaigns. Sub-Saharan African mothers mix its powder into porridge to treat childhood malnutrition. A practice endorsed by the World Health Organization and UNICEF. The science has validated what tradition observed. 92 nutrients, 46 antioxidants, all 9 essential amino acids, 27 grams of protein per 100 grams of dried leaf. 1 tree, 1 seed, $2. The supplement industry does not ignore moringa because the science is weak. The science is overwhelming. Over 129 original research articles, systematic reviews, clinical trials, nutritional analyses, published in dozens of journals across 6 continents. The industry does not ignore moringa because it does not work. It works too well. It works in a form that cannot be controlled, bottled, patented, or subscription priced. It works in a form that grows in a pot on a balcony and replaces an entire shelf of products that collectively cost a consumer $850 per year. A moringa tree does not need a brand. It does not need a label. It does not need a 60-count bottle with a manufactured expiration date. It does not need a marketing budget. It needs soil, water, warmth, and someone willing to plant it. $2, 60 days. 92 nutrients forever. The supplement aisle is still 40 feet long. The moringa seed is still $2. The distance between them is not information. The information has been published for decades. The distance is revenue. $431 billion of revenue that depends entirely on you never planting what the Egyptians buried with their kings. If this story opens something for you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next story opens soon.